What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the HSN Podcast. Johnny, Michael, how are you guys?
Absolutely great. Cowboys just signed Dak. Couldn't be happier right now. Don't even care about the Montreal game tonight.
Oh yeah, they play at 10, right?
What's the contract?
4 years, 40 mil per. Second highest paid quarterback in NFL history.
That's crazy. Do you think it's worth it?
I think.
Damn.
Injuries though?
He only had one.
I know, but coming off of that injury, I mean.
No, that means he's fine. I think they wouldn't have gave that money unless they were sure. But NFL quarterback's the one position you have to have in any sport. You're not going to lose a quarterback. But yeah, back onto hockey. Bigger news, I think, in Adam's world this week.
Huge signing.
He's finally got his wish. No more Geoff Ward.
I don't know why it took this long, honestly. I would have pulled the plug. Actually, I wouldn't even have pulled the plug in the season. I just would have hired Daryl Sutter from the beginning in the summer. But yeah, obviously, how can you go wrong with signing Daryl Sutter? Geoff Ward had to go.
Agreed.
He doesn't require a 14-day quarantine because he's from the boonies in Alberta, 3 hours north of Calgary. So you're getting him. I think he's in Calgary today, but they're going to practice for the first time with him tomorrow. So I hope if there's a live stream or somewhere I can watch this, I just want to see Daryl bag skate them, all of them, especially Bennett. That's probably the most interesting thing is to see how the Bennett and Sutter situation goes. But back on the topic of if this was a good idea or not, I think that bringing in a guy that's won 2 Stanley Cups, brought you to the finals in 2004, and what got me fired up the most was in his press conference, he's like, there's unfinished business. I was like, fucking right, there's unfinished business. Not that I was alive in 2004, but
you were alive actually.
Okay, but I wasn't competent in 2004. Yeah, I was 3 years old. What am I gonna remember? My dad screaming his head off. But yeah, like I know the bullshit that we went through in 2004 and that it was in and all that. So yeah, unfinished business. I'm pretty hyped to see the second Daryl Sutter era.
That was the one thing that I found really interesting. He came straight up and just said that there's unfinished business because realistically, Calgary should have had that cup in 2004 if there was I believe there just wasn't video review back then, so they couldn't determine that the puck was in Game 6. But yeah, he's going to be a good. He's definitely an upgrade over Geoff Ward. No doubt about that. I think
you could have hired
an
Michael
upgrade over Geoff Ward.
Yeah. Anybody's an upgrade from
the only thing I'm interested to see is because he's an old school coach. We can all agree about that. Just interested to see how he gels with new players because I remember he lost the locker room a bit in LA at the end of his time, but that was also because he was there for so long that over time you're just going to lose a locker room when LA was used to so much success and then they had a bad season. But that's one thing I'm interested in to see of how he gels with the new style of hockey.
Yeah, but you heard him say one of the first things he brought up was how much he cares about the advanced analytics and how much it shows exactly. So I don't know. I think that narrative is kind of wrong in a way that he's an old school coach. I think he's good at adapting to the situation. You don't win 2 cups by coaching the same way each year. The game changes all the time. You have to adapt to situations, adapt to teams playing better against your style of hockey. So I think that's bullshit. I don't think that's going to be an issue. If anything, that he can use some of his tactics and stuff to get more out of guys like Lucic, Backlund, Bennett, even Tkachuk. Honestly, he's going to love Matthew Tkachuk and the type of player he is. He's not only has a lot of skill, he also is a Daryl Sutter type player. He's not. I'm not going to compare him to Milan Lucic here, but he likes to run people over and he can put the puck into that. Just what Milan did in his year with Daryl, and I think it was 13, right? In between the 12 and 14 cup. I could be mistaken.
No, I think it was after that. I think it was 15, 16, his year there.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, it was because in his first year in Edmonton was 16, 17 when they made the playoffs.
They signed him off of his best year.
Yeah, he had the 1 year in LA when Boston traded him randomly.
Yeah, but I think this is a no-brainer move for Calgary.
The one thing I want to say, he's definitely an old school coach, but he's adapting to the fact that he does analytics is he's adapting, but he's definitely gonna bring the old school approach of playing physical and stuff like that.
So where you're wrong here is that in his last 3 years in LA, if you look at their advanced statistics like CF percentage, all of the X goals against, X goals for, every single statistic in the top 10. So everybody thinks he's going to play defensive-minded, dump and chase, neutral zone, just cram the neutral zone type of thing. But he didn't have players on LA like Johnny Gaudreau, like Andrew Mangiapane, who's actually really good defensively too. He's going to love him. Like Elias Lindholm. I think that he's going to adapt to the players' needs and wants. He knows not to shelter Johnny Gaudreau. Like Geoff Ward is making him dump and chase. You're making one of the best dynamic players in the last 10 years dump and chase the puck. Are you kidding me? What made him so great in the Bill Peters saga over there is carrying it through the neutral zone into the offensive zone and setting up without a dump and chase. So I don't know, more neutral zone carries into the offensive zone, I think is going to be crucial. D needs to be activated more, especially Hanifin. Like he's been breaking out this year defensively, but even like he's showing flashes of offense. But he's just been sheltered. Like with a guy like Tanev on your side, you can be a little more aggressive. I think that's what Anderson wishes would happen with Giordano, but Giordano has just fallen off a cliff defensively. And whenever Anderson jumps into the play or whatever, it's going to bite us in the ass coming back 3-on-1, and we're going to get scored on.
I'm not arguing any. Oh yeah, Michael, you go. You haven't.
I feel like initially, any coaching change, gives a spark to a team. So I feel like it will work at least right away. So I think the biggest thing for Calgary is not even on Sutter. It's more on Brad Treliving to now make a move, because I think you have to combine the coaching change with a trade, because
you can't.
But I don't know if they would have been if they would have just, if they wanted to be sellers or rebuild, they would have just kept Ward. Like I don't think Sutter came here for a rebuild.
Sutter's here to win. Obviously, that's what he said he was going to do. But in a shortened season like this, would you give up Jacob Petillier or Jakob, however you pronounce it, or Connor Zary for a crack at the playoffs? You might not even make the playoffs. You're going to give up your future. You can't.
But it's kind of all or nothing, because your core's been at it for at least 5-6 years. And
I don't think it's all or nothing yet. I don't think it is
all or nothing. But like, I still don't believe that Calgary's core is going to win a cup. And if they brought in Sutter to try and win a cup, and they signed him to 3 years, you got to still make a move.
Yeah, but this core almost like had the potential to win a cup 2 years ago. Everybody put them high in their playoff brackets. They thought they were going to go far. Colorado was a good team though. They shouldn't have been the 8th seed, and they kind of gave it to us. We were definitely like not prepared, but that core won you 50 games. It's not like that core is like Buffalo's core where there is no hope. This core has potential. If you want to get Philip Forsberg and not give up too much of your future, go for it. If you want to get William Nylander, go for it. But other than that, like, and not like you guys are going to give up Nylander. That's just my pipe dream. That's what I hope for, but I don't think it'll happen. I think this year, if you won the last 2 games, you got 1 out of 4 points. If you get all 4 points there, you're 13-11-2 going into the Daryl Sutter era. Things are looking up. Your next 4 games are against people you're chasing. So 2 against Montreal, 2 against Edmonton. If you go 3-1 there, you make a move. But right now, you just lost to Edmonton. Biggest game of your season. You lost to them. You only got a point against Thing. Now you're 11-12-2, and now you're playing your most important games of the season on a cold stretch. So why would Brad Treliving be even more hated in Calgary? Like he's on a thin leash, thinnest of leashes.
Because this is what, his 5th coach since he started there.
Yeah, nobody gets 5 coaches.
Exactly. So you can't just keep changing the coach. There has to be a point where you make a big move for a player like Forsberg. And if you have to give up a top level prospect, I think you do it, because if you don't add a player like that, okay, a player like Zary comes in a couple of years, but like, is he going to become what a Forsberg is going to become? He could.
You have to wait and see. These 4 games will be telling. If you go 3-1 or 4-0, make a move. If you go 2-2, 1-3, it's too risky to make a move, I think. So I don't know. I wouldn't personally, if I was Brad Treliving, I would not give up Pelletier or Zary just yet. If you get Forsberg though, that's like my exception. If it all it takes is Pelletier and like a second and a couple roster players like Ryan and Bennett to get Forsberg, who's still signed to like a decent term, and it's only $6 million per, I think, 2 more years or 3 more years on it. I think you do it. I don't think you go out and get a rental player. I think there's no point in a shortened season. And if you make the playoffs, you're playing the Leafs first round. We know you guys suck in the first round, but you guys aren't gonna. I
So
think
do you guys.
The streak has to come to it.
It's about who sucks the most in the first round.
We've been to the
Probably
first round
Calgary.
twice in the last 10 years, or we made the playoffs like 3 times in the last 10 years. You guys have been there more. So, and higher expectations too, besides 20.
Higher expectations because of the media. This is the first year we're actually a good, complete team.
Michael, you have,
I guess last
you
year
have
we
Austin
were,
Matthews, Nylander, Tavares, and fucking Marner for 5 years, and you don't get past the first round. That's a joke. That's an embarrassment to the city and to the fans.
I know.
Don't give me that bullshit. Don't give me that bullshit that the expectations are from the fan base. Your fan base is ridiculously dumb sometimes, and they overreach on everything. One extreme or another. There's no in between for them. And you're trying to tell me that the expectations were from a thing. No, the expectations is having the best team on paper for the last 5 years and not doing anything with it. Not you have Johnny Gaudreau and Sean Monahan. People, they're thrown under the bus.
Adam, it really hasn't been 5 years. If you look at the team,
it's been 3 years. Not exaggerating.
No, it hasn't. Because if you look at the team that Lamoriello left behind and the contracts that he had, there was no way to improve the defense without Dubas coming in and making the moves that he did. Hiring a new coach. This is Keith's first full season.
You're still a thing. You're still a top team in the league. Top 5 team.
Yeah, but we weren't going anywhere with Mike Babcock. But anyway, back to Calgary. Me and Johnny were even saying after the firing, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of these teams that just hire coaches just because of their resumes. And it's like you didn't I wonder how many coaches at Calgary actually went out and interviewed.
Well,
I feel like they keep making this.
Wait. Who are you going to interview? Who are you going to interview during COVID? You're going to go interview Gallant and Boudreau?
Adam, it's the
NHL. 14 days. It's 14-day quarantine. If you think they're desperate,
they had that move coming. Right? They had Sutter was planned probably to be the coach for the past 3 weeks because
Sutter was on the phone with them this summer.
So the move's been coming. So they had time to interview other coaches. I'm sure they interviewed a lot of coaches, and the fact that they turned to Sutter just because he has a resume.
Dude, it's Brad Treliving. Whoa! You don't even look at Boudreau or thing in Gallant.
What? That's what
because
I'm saying.
Gallant didn't win the cup. Yeah, but they have good resumes. It's not like they're bad coaches.
But they also play a different style.
You're gonna go hire Doug Ducharme, talk about not having a resume, or Sheldon Keefe. He doesn't have a resume, so what's this resume bullshit?
It's Dom
That's
Ducharme.
what I'm saying. It doesn't matter about a resume.
Get it right, Adam.
Doug, Dom.
God.
I don't care.
It's the future Jack Adams winner you're talking about right there.
Yeah, but the fact that they fired Ward after a win just shows that they had him coming.
Yeah, they did.
They had the move planned.
It should have came at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Can I jump in? I had some points I wanted to say.
Go, Johnny.
Okay. Because I've watched Calgary quite a bit these last couple of years with Adam, so I think I'm qualified to make some points here.
Johnny is basically a part-time Flames fan, so you go
basically,
for it.
First thing about what me and Mike were saying when we were texting about it, we touched on this podcast. I believe we're talking about Tortorella. You win a cup, you'll always be considered. Not saying that Daryl Sutter isn't a good candidate, but you'll always be considered. So that probably threw his name right in there. Second off, about going all in this year. If I was Brad Treliving, I actually wouldn't go all in this year because you got to think, who do you think realignment messed up the most this year? I say Calgary, Edmonton, because you got to think if they were in that Pacific this year, no doubt they're a playoff team.
Arizona, San Jose, Anaheim.
Yeah, they're easily a playoff team. So if anything, I would say they're 1 year. They should go all in next year in the Pacific again.
That's why I said Philip Forsberg is my only exception if you want to trade Peltier right now. He has term and it's good term. It's $6 million. It's not like you're paying $8 million or 10.9 for Marner. So,
but it's not even all in as much as you guys think, especially this year with teams that have major revenue losses as an organization that also want to shed some cap. To owners, that's a big thing. If you're not making the playoffs like Anaheim, Anaheim or Nashville, you might as well be sellers, right? So a lot of the teams that can take on cap that are more financially stable, like Calgary, I'm not saying I don't know what their situation is as an organization in terms of revenue, but I'm sure as a Canadian team, big fan base, they're definitely in a better position than a team like Nashville. So
I think they have one of the smallest fan bases in Canada, if I'm not correct.
In Canada, but probably not overall in the NHL. They've been around for 20.
It's not as big as you think. It's a small market team. I would consider them.
Anyway, those teams that could sell, I feel like it wouldn't take as much to get a Philip Forsberg as it would in previous years.
Philip Forsberg, okay. I understand that because they want to shake things up. They came public and said everybody's available, and they made Forsberg publicly available. I don't know. I think it's still going to take an A prospect, so Peltier or Zari, maybe another first-round pick, which I'm fine with trading this year's first-round pick because I'm sure you're going to get a third-round gem, fourth-round gem. We always do, and this year it's even more of a what's it called, playing roulette or whatever. Like you're tossing a coin and seeing because you're not getting as many scouts out to games and such, and a smaller sample size. So I feel like the scouting is going to really have to come in big this draft, and I think we do a pretty good job at that. So I wouldn't mind just having a second-round pick, to be honest.
But yeah, I just wanted to make that point because, like, I know for me and for Michael, we viewed this year as a great chance to go far in the playoffs because we avoid Tampa, Boston. Like, the Atlantic's tough. Probably the hardest division, honestly. So, like, me and Michael view this as a great chance to at least make conference finals. But it's the exact opposite, in my opinion, for Calgary. Let's say, because I think we can agree Vegas would probably win the Pacific. So then Calgary comes in the 2 or 3 seed, most likely. Gets a Edmonton in the first round. I think Adam would like their chances.
Yeah.
The same
if
thing
their goaltending stays the same.
Pardon?
It's the same thing as this year. If they were to make it, they still get another Canadian team like that.
Yeah,
like
but we're getting Toronto probably, and this is the best Toronto team out of the last 5 that you've had. So
it's just
the last 5 years.
It's just because the Pacific's weak. Not even that. Like, you got to think with all like the California teams and stuff, they would have a lot more points. They wouldn't be as much on the bubble where BT would feel comfortable going in all in because he knows they're in the playoffs at least. You don't know Calgary's in the playoffs this year. We'll touch on that later, but it's like when I said in the Claude Julien video, this is probably Brad Treliving's last bullet he can fire.
It's his last move.
Like 100%. How it's Bergevin's last bullet he can fire. You got to think, Adam, correct me if I'm wrong.
Go for it.
You ended 17-18 with Gulletson. You ended 18-19 with Peters. You ended 19-20 with Ward, and you're going to end 20-21 technically with Daryl Sutter. That's 4 different coaches in 4 years. Yes, there's the asterisks because Bill Peters wasn't fired because he's a bad coach. He was fired because he's a terrible person.
I think it was coming anyway, to be honest.
I wouldn't say I think 50 wins gets you at least a little more than
maybe. Yeah, you might be right.
He would finish out that year at least.
That's the thing that sucks. That they
I need to make one more point. About the Brad Treliving going all in this year. How it's not going to happen because we know who Brad Treliving is. You win your first place or second place in the league going to the trade deadline in 18-19, and the best ever player that's going to be available on a trade deadline, probably for the rest of the NHL, maybe not for the rest of NHL, Mark Stone is available here. And it did not take much to get him. Like it really didn't take that much. I would have coughed that up in a heartbeat. So you don't go for it then. Why do you go for it now when it's like if you had a 20% chance to win the cup then, you have a 0.20% chance to win the cup now. So what's the point?
Just to clarify for the viewers, the report is like Calgary offered and like it was accepted by Ottawa. Valimaki a first and something else. Like not the third part wasn't as big.
Right. And I would have done that in a heartbeat, even though I love Valimaki.
And you're right in the fact that if you're going all in, you're like, it's okay, we'll take Stone as a rental and this X amount of time for the rest of the season will show him he should stay here because we can contend. And another point I just want to touch on because you guys talked for a while about the Colorado thing. Adam's right. Colorado's not an 8 seed. They had so many injuries in that first half of the season that they clawed their way back into the playoffs. So that was just unlucky that they got Calgary. But so now we'll just move on to the next part of this discussion. What are your expectations for Calgary? Do they make the playoffs now under Daryl Sutter?
I say no. I say we're going to miss. Honestly, like I
Michael?
just don't think there's a lot of time. There's not enough time.
Well, there's still 50% of the season at least, right? Because I don't know if we're halfway. Yeah, we're not halfway. Games. So let's say Calgary's record right now. What are they? Are they even 500?
11, 12, and 2.
So so basically 500. Let's just say the other half, they have a positive record by like maybe 4 games, wins more than losses, and then you take a team like Edmonton, maybe that they have a shit second half. You easily replace Edmonton with Calgary. That's the big thing about this division, exactly how it is right now. But do I think Edmonton will fall off or Montreal? I think Montreal claws back and comes second. They've looked good under Ducharme. Winnipeg too look good. So I have them in Toronto, and then it's between Edmonton and Calgary, I think. So I think if BT does make a trade, not saying all in, I just even like not even a Forsberg, but they just need a player that I don't think it would take too much to trade for. Like even if it's
the only guy I thought of, like just jumping in here just to put a name out, is Cal Palmieri.
Oh,
I know we were
I had a different name.
Or Victor Arvidsson. Those are the two.
I had Eric
Stahl.
Stahl's
Honestly, I could see that too, but
it's going to be your 3C has been a bit of a weakness.
The only guy I would consider going all in, like literally the definition of
Backlund hasn't been that bad.
But I'm saying if you want to move Lindholm to the wing, but, on the Gaudreau line,
maybe.
Honestly, when I was looking at the standings this week, like preparing for Montreal can not bury Calgary like in terms of playoffs, but can bury Calgary from catching Montreal this year. We get 2 games in hand. Like we make up our 2 games in hand on Calgary today and Wednesday. We win both those against Vancouver, which is not out of the realm of possibility. We go 7 points ahead of Calgary.
How many points you had right now?
3. So we win both. Yeah, because you guys got a point last night. But we have 3 games in hand.
Oh yeah. 3 or 2?
3.
Oh, okay. And so Vancouver can like pass us if they.
You and Vancouver are tied, but you have 2 games in hand on Vancouver.
Right.
So yeah, Montreal can go 7 points ahead of Calgary come their matchup Thursday, and then let's say Montreal goes 4-0 this week. No chance Calgary catches them in the standings because they'll be 11 points ahead come next podcast. That's why in terms of Montreal, they can just go 2-0 this week against Vancouver, and then 1-1 against Calgary. I don't think Calgary can touch them because it's an 8-point gap. So then it's Calgary or Edmonton at that point, and it's just how
we still have a lot of games against you guys, though. No.
Yeah, but I'm saying if like 8 points, that's
it's hard. That's hard ground to make up. No, it's definitely hard ground to make up. Okay, so Vancouver's 1 point behind us, and we have 2 games in hand.
The point. But
Johnny, how do you think we'll get into the next segment? I guess how do you think Montreal's looked the past week under the new coach?
It's been a pretty good week. We got 5 out of 6 points, and if you count since last Saturday, that's points in 4 straight. I've been texting it to you guys. The best thing about Montreal this year is we've been picking up points. We're not losing 6 regulation losses. That's the same as the Leafs, and it's tied for second least in the NHL. We don't lose in regulation. We just don't. We lose in overtime because we suck at 3-on-3 and we put out shitty lines. But we put Yoel Armia and Philip Deneau out there every time. Alexander Romanov, a player I think is built for 3-on-3, doesn't get a shift. He goes Jeff Petrie-Sherratt, and we ran 3 forwards a couple times, but Montreal's either going to make the playoffs because they always picked up a point, or they're going to miss because they never picked up the second. Michael, you had a bit of a up and down week. What are your thoughts on your team's week?
Well, we swept the shit out of Edmonton, 3-0. McDavid and Draisaitl didn't get a point. Back-to-back shutouts, 3 different goalie wins. It was a good week in terms of those games. And then we lost 2 to Vancouver, which I don't even think we played that bad. Maybe the second game we played pretty bad. Just it's gonna happen where we lose. This is the first time we lost 2 regulation games in a row. So I just looking forward to the next game, how we bounce back against Winnipeg, who's kind of right on our ass. But I thought our depth was really good, which is very encouraging, especially that there's rumors that Dubas wants to bring in another top 6 guy. It's good that the top 6 is the bottom 6 is contributing without Simmons, and Robertson's still in the AHL. I think he'll get a shot soon. The goalies looked good. Hutchison's, can't ask really much more of that guy. That guy's been a beast for us so far. So, yeah.
I think Hutch is the only Toronto person I like just because of all. I think Adam can agree with this. All the shit Hutchison's gone through, I can't help but root for the guy. Like I even said it. I texted right away when you got the shutout against Edmonton. I was happy for the guy.
Yeah, you can't blame fans for like shitting on him last season because like there were some goals where
Adam can agree. You can.
There were some. No, a lot of goals were like, dude,
the second half
how do you let
of a
those
back-to-back every time?
Yeah.
No, I know, but at the same time, like if you're a goalie in the NHL, you should be able to make a lot of the saves that he let in. But this year, he's definitely got our trust back.
I don't think he deserved that much hate though. Like it's not just like
he won games in the second round of the playoffs with Colorado.
He did.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Another thing I want to say is Brody has just been unreal. We really saw it in that Edmonton series, man. He was just like Riley has been atrocious this year in his own end. I feel bad for Brody.
Did I call it or did I call it that he's?
Yeah, but you also said Brody wasn't good defensively.
Me and Adam said.
I said Brody's pretty good.
You said he was an offensive defenseman. He's not offensive at all.
Not anymore.
He never jumps up and play. And it's probably because he's with Riley. I could see that now because, dude, I feel bad for Brody. You know how many 2-on-1s he's left with? And he always defends them. Dude, you can't get a 2-on-1 past that guy.
See, the thing was in Calgary is like Brody was able to carry the puck through the neutral zone and like start a play or something. And Giordano would be back in.
Yeah, because him and Giordano are kind of similar defensemen. Like I would
say they were like, yeah, they are.
Yeah,
they like complemented each other in a way that like you could argue that Brody and Giordano were like one of the better pairings in the last decade as a duo. But yeah, you can't beat TJ Brody on the Flames with Morgan Riley as your D partner because unless you want to give up 2-on-0s and 3-on-0s all game. I mean, he had to play more defensively. I think he knew going into the season that he's probably gonna have to chill back with the offensive play and the puck handling and stuff and just, sit back, do what he's good at. He has a great stick and I said that he's the best skater I've ever seen in my life. I think I said it on podcast.
Yeah, he's smooth. It looks like he's about to get caught and he'll make a quick turn. He's calm under pressure. And I think that was just a good move by Dubas to not have to trade like a Nylander or whatever that everyone was calling to be traded for a right-handed defenseman because Brody's arguably been our best defenseman this year. Just steady, consistent. The only bad games he's had were the first 2 of the season. Since then, I haven't seen anything bad from him. He's just been good.
Mean, that's the one complaint I have is that Calgary let him walk and got Tanev. I love Tanev. Don't get me wrong. He's been back to his old ways in Vancouver as being an elite defenseman. Maybe not elite, but a really solid defenseman.
Elite shutdown.
Elite shutdown defenseman because he has no offensive game whatsoever, and I think you need to have at least a little bit to be considered elite. But yeah, that's the one thing that I dislike is that Giordano's game has fallen off because of Brody being gone. It's evident. Yeah, I don't know. I miss Brody. I really do.
I think you would see Calgary Brody if he was on a pairing with Muzzin. I think then you would see Calgary Brody.
150%, or even with you can play him with Hall because he can play both sides.
But yeah, no, we can move on from this topic because we just segued into our team's weeks. But now, I guess we can touch on this now because the news came out today when it came out if we recorded yesterday because we're recording on the Monday. It looks like the draft's going to stay in like end of the season. Chris Johnson reported that. So
are they bringing? When's the OHL starting and those?
They can't agree on it because the Ontario Health Minister girl still wants there to be no hitting, which is dumb, but we won't get into that. That's a whole conversation in itself.
I feel so bad for these kids though. Like,
it's going to be an interesting draft. It's going to be a very interesting. I'm kind of happy it's staying this year because it's just going to be a shit show, frankly, and that's going to be interesting to watch.
Oh, I can't wait to see our 3rd and 4th round picks turn out better than the first round picks.
It's going to be unreal.
Yeah, dude, in 5 years, there's going to be some like good players that
steals and a half. That's why the 1st round pick, I don't think they should be valued as much as they are.
I know. That's why I actually hope we trade our first is involved rather than like a prospect.
I want to trade our first even if we don't make the playoffs. Like get something back.
I think this is the year like quantity over quantity with picks.
I think that is true. I want to see how many picks Calgary has next draft.
So we can move on. I guess while we're talking about rookies, we'll jump into Kaprizov. There's been some conversation, not controversy, I'd say, about should he be classified as a rookie. Same thing. Same thing with Panarin.
Yeah.
Do you think these guys should be considered rookie? Or do you think they should cut it down to like 2021 for the Calder?
Derek Ryan was a rookie at 28.
Yeah, but
something.
I think Calder ends at 25. No.
26.
26.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it ends when you become a UFA.
Yeah.
Oh, he was never a UFA because he was never signed.
Well, like you're a UFA up until you're 26, 27.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's when you're out of the Calder running technically.
I think he was maybe he did come at 26. No, I think it was a little bit later, honestly. Actually, I don't know. Now that I think of it, but I think they're still considered rookies. I don't know. It's kind of a hard topic because they played so long they'll play a long time in the KHL and then come here.
I think people's issue with it is that Panarin took away the Calder from McDavid.
Yeah. But Panarin was 26, so that's 3 years older than Kaprizov. So I think it should get moved down a bit. But like in terms of this year, Kaprizov 23, maybe that's the maximum age because I definitely think he deserves it.
Well, Sorry, you finish.
Even just your first year in North America, like it's not an easy adjustment to smaller ice, and he's almost a point per game playing on a Winnipeg team. Like he doesn't have much help around him. He's just been
Minnesota, buddy. Minnesota, buddy.
Sorry, Minnesota. That's what I meant. So he definitely deserves. I think he's a lock for the Calgary.
See, I'll play devil's advocate here. I don't see how a guy that's played half a decade in Russia, which is probably the second best league in the world, can win a Calder over like Tim Stützle or like these actual kids.
You can't blame him for how he developed or the team's choice.
I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying I don't think he should win the Calder.
I guess, but it's like let's say you guys drafted Galchenyuk, and I know he played in North America, but let's just say because he's well, not even a Russian background because he grew up here, but let's just say a player grew up here, just played in the KHL to get his development in, or like Matthews, if he wasn't as good, but he still played in that league against men. I don't know. I feel like that's just part of your development. You're ready to come in.
No, I'm not arguing anything about the development or anything. I'm just saying for the specific award, I believe it should be a little bit younger. Like, I don't see how. Like, it's not fair. It's just this guy's been a professional athlete for over half a decade. Tim Stützle has been in North America for a hot minute. Like, if anything, it's just something I think voters should consider. Yeah. Like, in my opinion, McDavid should have won the Calder over Panarin.
Yeah, that was kind of it was because McDavid had a half season though. I think that's the thing. I think if he played a full season,
Panarin was like you said, Panarin was older than Kaprizov, so it's even worse than it is right now.
Yeah, I feel like if Stützle was closer, like if he ends up pretty close to Kaprizov in points, I think he has to go to Stützle. But
yeah, I don't know. It's iffy. Adam, what do you think? Should he be considered or not?
Honestly, I don't care. Like, just straight up, I really don't care, to be honest. Like, if he has the most points since his first year in the NHL, sure. Take it away from Connor McDavid, who you know is going to be a generational player. That's where it's iffy. And that 26, I don't know. I think it should have been taken into consideration, like knowing what kind of player McDavid's going to turn out to be. I think we all had a good idea that after that first year that he's going to be the best player of all time.
Yeah, see, like that's what in the McDavid thing. It's like when he's going for the best player of all time, you look at every single award, and the Calder's the one award you can only win that 1 year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can't try again. Like
for legacy purposes, I think it should have went to McDavid. And the fact that he's 26, Panarin at the age he was when he won the cup.
Did Sidney Crosby win the Calder?
I think Ovi won it.
Ovi won it that year, so I think Crosby and McDavid don't have the Calder.
Yeah,
because there was the lock.
That has to be the least important one, I think, out of all of them, because there's been like Joe Thornton, Hall of Fame lock, dude. His rookie season he do shit.
Yeah, it's people take time to develop at their own time. It's whatever. But
he went like 30 points without a game, 30 games without a point or something, 25 games. Is that his first point? I don't know, something like that. But yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So I know this is something me and Adam really, really dislike.
It infuriates me.
Regional broadcasting, especially this season with the North Division. Like every game should be televised all over Canada. So
every game should be on Sportsnet, no matter what. You have how many channels? Like Sportsnet has West, Pacific, all this, and they decide to black it out.
Ontario gets its own because it's special in the Leafs, but
yeah.
But like, I don't get why they're a thing. Like,
it's honestly the biggest joke ever.
It's awful.
It's why the game's not growing.
Considering they're having trouble growing the game, and then I can't even watch the Habs. Meanwhile, I live in Ontario.
Montreal, Ottawa is not televised.
No, Ottawa isn't even televised in Toronto.
That's what I'm saying. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a disgrace.
We can't even watch someone that's a team that's what? How many kilometers away from us?
Not that far, but they're like 5 hours. That's not far.
It's not far at all.
No.
Why should they have TSN 5 or like because they have some of the TSN owns the rights to some of their games, right?
For some reason, every Boston game's on Sportsnet right now. I've noticed that.
Like, Sportsnet 360 is populated with Philadelphia, Boston, and things.
It's ridiculous.
And St. Louis.
I just don't understand like these regional, right? Like imagine, because I saw a photo of like the regions, like where they end or whatever.
Right.
Imagine being like you're an Ottawa fan and you like this is the line and you live like right here. I don't get this. Like it's ridiculous.
And then they complain that people illegal stream.
Yeah. Like you think you're like, oh, there's a thing on the NHL website, like a blurb about like regional broadcasting, whatever, and it's like, oh, but don't worry, hockey fans, we have you covered. Watch your team from anywhere, but just pay $3.49 a year for NHL Live. I'm not paying $3.49. Look, the last 3 years, Montreal's been terrible. The only streaming service I pay for is the zone because you get NFL and you get like all the Liverpool games. Like
That's the only place
Liverpool's
you can
won the
watch
Champions
Premier,
League and Liverpool's won their league the last 2 years. I don't care. I'll pay to watch my team win. Montreal
And
doesn't
it's
deserve my
cheaper.
money.
How
It's
much?
100. It's 150, and me and my buddy split it, so 75 each.
150 a year, and you can watch all the sports.
And they have every boxing fight too. Like I got to watch all. I get to watch every boxing fight.
Meanwhile, you pay for NHL a whole year, and you pay like 3 times the price of Netflix. Like, how does that even work?
At least combine it with the AHL TV.
Oh, I know. Then maybe give me some incentive.
Then at least, it's like, okay, you get to watch. Like if you're a diehard, I get to watch the Habs and the Laval Rocket. But we saw the post. The NHL is growing at a rate of followers that's slightly above the G League.
Yeah, it's so
the
bad.
G League.
It's so bad.
Yeah, because I'm sure even G League
a G League game was on TV today on TSN.
Dude, I was looking
for Overdrive and a G League game was on.
I could watch German like the League 2 on TSN, but I can't watch Ottawa.
This is why soccer's undefeated. Basic cable I have in my house. I get to watch every Bundesliga game. That's every German's happy. Teletino Network for any Italians. No, every Serie A game's on there. The EPL was here up until last year, but now, like I mentioned, it's a streaming service. Spain's on TV. You can watch any soccer you want. French league's on TV. And they're on the French league and Spanish league are on one channel. You pay, it's like I used to pay for it when I like really cared. It was like an extra $25 a year, and you got 2 leagues. That's growing the game. It's everywhere. I'm a Liverpool fan from Canada. You think you know how many fans? And I know like at least over 10 Liverpool fans in my area. Do you think how many Montreal fans do you think are in Liverpool? They probably can't even watch the game.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But what is the cause of this? Is it teams that sell the rights to like Rogers?
Sell the right, like they sell the Leafs sell their regional games to TSN and to No, but it's also because they want to promote this NHL live and get $350.
Yeah, but it's definitely the NHL like pressuring the teams to make those business decisions because they're thinking about money now. But in 10 years from now, when no one's even watching hockey anymore, what was bigger for you, the subscription money that you got from the NHL live, or actual fans that still watch hockey? Like, makes no sense. Kind of done with that topic. I get their logic,
but it's like for the DAZN thing, like we'll compare the NHL to the DAZN where they have their own like streaming service for soccer, like the English league. The English league, there's no playoffs. So if you want to watch it, and the Champions League, it's like all on DAZN. So if you want to watch your team lift a trophy, it's on DAZN. Every playoff game is televised here. If like Montreal, let's say Montreal's like, or you're a Toronto fan and you live like in Montreal, like reverse, you know Toronto's making the playoffs. I'll watch whatever game's nationally televised, and then I'll watch every playoff game. I'm not paying $350. It's Adam over here. It's just a joke of these regional broadcasting.
For soccer, it's like you kind of have to as a fan, right?
But it's also like it's different kind. Like I wouldn't expect Liverpool to be televised here because it's a whole continent away.
Yeah.
I become a diehard Liverpool fan, so I have no issue. Also helps that they're really good right now.
Like
not this year.
In Liverpool, do they have to have DAZN?
No, it's it's on Sky Sports. It's like televised. It's just I don't get it. The NHL is the only sport that has this, I think. I've never heard of an NFL game that has regional rights.
And the NHL app is just garbage. If anyone's used it, you know it's not that great, Johnny, right? Like
it's literally laggy.
They have the basic things. You can only watch the games. Like
you don't get to watch any commercial breaks. Literally, like Bill a sport that I stream off, and I'm pretty sure Adam streams off. That's NHL.
Nah, don't incriminate me. Don't incriminate me.
That's literally NHL Game Center Live for free.
Basically.
But
yeah, on the topic of what's it called, the marketing, like, did you see on Twitter there was 14 games or 15 games in one day of like NHL hockey, and there's like they put out 3 tweets. One of them was a throwback, like they posted a black and white video of like the Bruins and Flyers or something. I don't recall what it was exactly, but like, dude, 15 games and you post like 4 tweets, like leading up to like 12 o'clock whenever the game started is like what are you doing?
North America is undefeated when it comes to marketing. The NFL's marketed amazingly. The NBA's marketed amazingly. The NBA got an all-star game off in a pandemic, and it went pretty smoothly apart from Embiid and Simmons. The NHL probably can't plan an all-star game in a normal season.
No, I was just going to say.
It's mind-blowing how poor this is. Like,
The NHL All-Star games are garbage, especially you have all the stars under one roof, and like they don't even come out with that good of content or ways to like show their skill.
The NHL All-Star game got rid of the best part, I thought, was when they used to draft.
Yeah, bro.
Like the 3-on-3 is good, but keep that, but have the people draft their teams. Like the NBA drafts are jokes. The NHL drafts are jokes. Remember when Kessel went last? How funny that was?
I was just gonna say, when Kessel got the card, I think that's one of the only memories I have from an All-Star game.
Ovechkin was like begging people not to pick him. Like those drafts at least built the personality of players. And even as a hat, I'm like, Kessel's pretty jokes. Like, and
especially now, a lot of the players have personalities, and they're just not showcasing them. That's the saddest thing.
Even like the other sport, me and Adam like watch like passionately, like F1. They started marketing these personalities so well.
Like Albon, Norris, Leclerc,
the Switch Quartet.
Yeah,
Russell, the four of them. But
even like the story,
Hamilton's
the way
marketed well, even though like
but even Checo now, like Checo's been marketed like beautifully by Red Bull, by like Checo does some great marketing himself with his YouTube channel that I don't understand because it's all in
Mexican.
Like I was like, come on, Checo, give me some like there's closed captioning, but like somebody narrate over it, whatever. But like F1 does an amazing job at marketing. And even the sad part is that I'm becoming more of a golf fan than a hockey fan right now. And it's actually because of like younger players like Spieth, DeChambeau, like they're actually getting like they're marketing pretty good. Like for what's the average age of a PGA Tour viewer? 60. And I guarantee you in the last 2 years and stuff since the pandemic, how like golf was the only sport we could play for so long and stuff that they've killed it. But like, I mean, me and you weren't big golf guys before this.
Even when we started playing, like we didn't watch, but like using the example of like DeChambeau has kind of like brought us in because like, he's just so entertaining. Like watching him just like, I don't care. Like everyone's shooting around the par 5. I'm going over the water, like stuff like that. Like the NHL has these personalities. Like Austin Matthews is a personality. They just don't take advantage of them.
Matthew Tkachuk is a personality and a half, and they don't take it. They could have a show with Matthew and Brady. Like
there's
honestly,
so many personalities in the NHL that just don't take advantage of, and even like they don't take advantage of personalities, and then the regional broadcasting is just like shooting themselves in the foot some more.
Yeah, it's just like an FU to like the people that care about this game.
Like I get you think, oh, these people from Toronto, like they would want to watch the Toronto games, but like not everyone in a city cheers for like. It would be
Toronto's an exception, I think.
You can get some diversity. Like even like you're like, oh, I'm gonna become a Colorado fan by watching all these Colorado games because
I think that's actually the biggest thing because especially now with social media so big, it's like you could literally like a team that's across the world. Like, why do you have to actually be in that city? Like, unless you go, like I guess going to the game is one thing. Other than going to the game, it's everything you see is on your phone or on TV in the game. So like that's the biggest.
I think
they need to bring down the price of that NHL Game Center Live crap because $349 for a year is awful.
In the shortened season, it's only $279.
Wow,
pretty good deal.
Wow, but I'm paying $89 a month for golf or $89 a year for golf TV, and I get like
every event.
So 4 days a week. Each thing is broadcasted for like 10 hours from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So 4 times a week times what? The golf season goes pretty long.
Yeah,
usually. So I don't know. Would I rather pay for NHL Game Center Live or $89 to watch golf for like 40 hours a week?
But relating it to like another thing, like even with fantasy hockey, like if you want to grow fantasy hockey or even betting, like let's say I bet on like Vegas, Colorado, I should be able to watch that game.
I think it has to do a lot with the provider as well, like Rogers and Sportsnet and stuff like that. So I don't think it can all be, you can't really
even like
put down the NHL's marketing for that. But like, I think they're marketing on social.
But they should work with these providers to make sure that the game.
What are you going to do, Johnny? It's a business. If there's no money to be made,
that's what I'm saying. But it's a bad business. They're not succeeding.
We think it's a bad business. They're making profit, or else it would not.
They're making profit, but the potential could be so much bigger. Like there's a provider, there's a new streaming service called Fubo TV.
Have you ever heard someone say hockey's a boring sport to watch?
No, dude, hockey's the best. Like every hockey fan knows.
What's it called? I've heard from some sources, basically like lecturers in my class. Like we'll get some guest speakers and stuff within Sportsnet and TSN, and they said in the next 5 years when the NHL rights deal is done, the biggest players are going to be Amazon and Google and Facebook
Good.
to acquire this thing.
Good, because Google, Amazon, they know what they're doing.
Amazon's gonna make NHL games available for Prime users, which is $5.99.
That's only gonna be in the States.
Oh,
you think CBC is ever gonna give up Saturday Night Hockey? No chance.
No, I don't know if they outbid
CBC's owned by. So you have to remember, CBC's not your typical station. It's owned by the government.
Yeah.
Do you think the government will ever give up talking in Canada?
If enough money's involved, Johnny.
Dude, do you know how much money?
It's the government, bro. They'll win the bid and just raise our taxes.
Or they'll just partner.
I don't think they'll do that.
Anyway, quick. What was I gonna say about Fubo TV? They integrate sports betting as you watch.
That's nuts.
I don't know exactly how it's done, but it's pretty sick. So I would love to watch hockey on there. But
all right, we're getting really long on this episode, so maybe let's just do the next topic.
Let's just. A little bit of a long episode considering the last couple ones have been short. So I'm going to pull up the TSN trade bait list. And I'm just going to say the top 15 names and then if they get moved and if so, where. This is by Frank Saravelli of TSN, by the way. Matthias Ekholm, does he get moved?
No.
I don't think so either.
I have some pieces that I think are going to fall for Nashville. I don't think they're going to clean house.
So Michael, where do you think? We're just a potential destination. Just off the top of your head. Don't even have to explain it.
Yeah, I don't know about too much cap situation right now, but I could see a team like Colorado picking him up.
David Savard, second one.
No,
I think he does. I think
he gets traded.
I think he gets dealt to Toronto.
You think so?
I think they bring in another D to shore up that third pairing, and he was a rock against them in the bubble, and I think they take him.
He was really good,
and he's just another physical body, which Toronto wants to be physical in the playoffs. They've been saying he's very physical.
He's right. He's right.
Imagine the third pairing.
Sam Bennett's right there.
Imagine a third pairing of him and actually could even be elevated up the lineup. He's not a third pairing guy.
Mm-hmm.
This next one, I don't think he gets dealt. Tony DeAngelo. I think he's stuck.
No,
I think he's out of the league. Apparently, he's looking to take an AHL loan somewhere. I know AHL teams are taking him.
Yeah.
Brandon Montour of Buffalo.
I can see somebody from Buffalo going. Maybe Montour. Yeah.
This is a juicy one. This was actually one of my bold predictions, I believe.
Right.
Taylor Hall. Does he get dealt?
No. I think he ends it there.
I think he does. I think he does. I think he gets dealt at 50% salary retained.
Where?
I don't know where, but he gets dealt. I see if there wasn't quarantine, I would say I think Montreal circles back because they were very interested in the offseason. 50% retained salary. You send a good prospect a pick because we've been talking about picks, and then Byron to make the cap work.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if they do that with the 14.
He's been garbage this season though. I don't even.
But it's Buffalo. I don't think you can judge.
He's still playing with Eichel. I don't know what they're doing over there.
I think it's Ralph Kruger's not a good coach.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mikael Granlund.
Yeah, I think he might get dealt to Toronto. I can see it.
I could see
that. Especially
if
they if they really want to go after a top 6 guy that isn't going to cost too much.
I'd take him, but I'd rather have Raquel. I don't know if he's on this list, Johnny, but
he's not.
All right, next.
Bobby Ryan's number 7. I think he gets dealt. Perfect. He's on a cheap deal. Perfect.
Playoff deal to someone, or a deal to a playoff team.
Is he on an expiring deal?
Yeah, it's a 1 year. It was a 1 year deal.
Yeah, he said he wants to stay there. So
and he has 12 points in 23 games. Not bad.
Pretty good.
Next one, I don't see this guy getting dealt either. Jake Virtanen.
No, I don't think anybody's taking that on.
3.8 mil this year or something like that.
Yeah, no way.
Jim Benny needs to be dealt. That's what needs to be dealt out of Vancouver.
Yeah, needs to be dealt.
Next one. Sam Bennett.
Yeah, I think he's gone
this year.
I thought he was gone, but now maybe Sutter. I don't know.
It'll tell in these next 4 games. We'll tell where he goes.
I
think he can go to a playoff team. So
tomorrow's Calgary's biggest day for news, just to see the lines. When Claude got fired, I'm interested to see the lines. Although the Charm didn't change them right away. He took a couple of days. But Calgary obviously has the break. Montreal didn't. So probably see different lines right off the bat. I think he stays. I think him or Big Save Dave are going to go in the expansion draft.
Maybe.
Tanner Pearson, I think, is gone.
Maybe. I can see it. Yeah, I can see him going. Maybe to a team like Thing.
I think he goes to Winnipeg.
If Chicago's in the hunt, never mind.
Well, it's not a big deal for U.S. people trading for a Canadian guy because there's no quarantine. Just the NHL.
Oh, right.
But I can see that's why I can see Winnipeg, who wants another winger. They've said going after Tanner Pearson because he's already in Canada.
I can see Chicago making a move if they're high in the playoff.
They have a lot of like capital.
They do.
But I saw that they were looking to trade Zadorov and not Dahan. Is it Dahan? They were looking to trade two of their D. I saw.
Really?
Dahan, I saw that. I didn't know about Zadorov though.
They're looking to trade them for younger D. I don't know about that. Luke Glendening, I could just see him getting traded as a depth piece to a team. Not much to read into that one. Anyone?
Yeah. Nah, I don't really have much to say about Luke Glendening.
Yeah, like, because you remember, it's not even about big names. It's just about also like likelihood they get dealt off this list.
Right.
Vince Dunn, like, I don't see him getting dealt.
I don't see it either. There was talk at the beginning of the year, but it's quiet down. So
is he back? Is he back in the lineup now? Because I know he's 7th D at the start.
I don't know, but St. Louis is a team where they're going to go for the cup, so I don't think they're going to lose an asset for nothing. It would be like a 1-for-1 where they get an NHL defenseman right back.
Right.
If he does get dealt, I felt.
They wanted a first-round pick for a guy that they weren't playing. Stupidest shit I've ever heard.
It's like Montreal going, yeah, Mete, first-round pick.
Yeah.
Eric Stahl, I think.
Yeah, I think
so.
He's a rental. I would Montreal if you don't have to give up like an actual roster player. It's like picks or whatever, and then just someone to make the money work, like a Byron again. Sorry, Byron. I would do it.
I can see Edmonton go for it too.
I was going to say that's a good one.
Because they don't really have too much depth down the middle, and they can move somebody to the wing.
Mark Stahl. This is an interesting one because I'm pretty sure he has a big contract. Let me check.
Does he? I don't think he does have that big of a contract. He's on thing, right? He's on a 2-year deal. 2 years left.
I'm just loading it up. Sorry.
Is he even that good anymore, Mark Stahl?
Well, his cap hit is actually $5.7 million. But it ends this year.
Oh, okay. I thought it was either 2 years or 1 year left. So
it's only $3 million in cash.
I don't think anyone's trading for Mark.
I don't think so either.
If Detroit retained a little, I could see. You gotta remember, playoffs, you need defensemen. I could see an American team trading for him. And then the 15th guy is Ryan Dzingel. I think he's gone.
I think so too. I think he's been off to a pretty hot start with his return to Ottawa
against Calgary.
That's why I said it pretty monotone. All about inflection and tone here. I don't know. Where could Dzingel go? Honestly, I'd want Dzingel, to be honest. I don't know.
I think he's like 1.3 million, something like that. He's in the ones. I know that.
Yeah, he's pretty cheap.
But the only thing about him, when he was a rental at Columbus, he didn't do that hot. When they traded for him from Ottawa. Yeah. That's the 15.
I think Forsberg's gone somewhere. I don't know where. I think he's going to get traded because they have to have one of their big pieces is going to fall. And I think in all likelihood, you're going to get the best return from Philip Forsberg. I don't think you get a big return from anyone else, really. Ellis is off the table. Yossi's off the table.
Well, you got to think, like, apart from Forsberg, if you have Yossi and Ellis are off the table, they'll probably get a decent return for Ekholm.
Maybe,
I could see that.
I could see, like, a first-round pick and a
B-level prospect.
B-level prospect, yeah.
If you trade Forsberg, I can't see how they move forward after that without
they got to rebuild.
Rebuild, yeah. He's the best forward.
But I don't know how, like, they're similar to the Leafs if you think about it. Not like the old Leafs.
In a way.
Yeah.
You gotta think about it. They had you had the 2012-13 year where the Leafs made the playoffs with the team, and then they thought they were better than they were. Here, the year where Nashville went to the Cup final and they thought they were.
But Nashville was a lot better than the Leafs were.
I'm just saying, like, there's similarities. Now they're on a decline where they kind of don't want to admit it.
Mm-hmm.
The Leafs didn't want to admit it. They stuck around with Carlisle for a couple of years and it got real bad. Like when the year you got Martin is when it reached like the breaking point. Then the Shanna plan was born.
The Shanahan changed everything.
But the Leafs had 2 big contracts in Kessel and for enough that no one said they would take. Nashville has 2 big contracts in Johansson and Duchesne that no one's gonna take apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they need it.
I think it's a different time though. It's a different time.
With the pandemic, yes.
They're definitely not getting taken. Like 100% not getting taken.
I think Duchesne's more likely to get taken than
who?
I don't know who, but you have to retain money. The Leafs retain money on Kessel.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think
not much.
I don't know. I don't see in the COVID world that
I don't see them getting traded. Not like this year, but I could see one of them getting traded or bought out.
I'd claim one if I was Seattle. I'd claim Duchesne.
Yeah,
maybe just have a big name to market, but
They need to meet the clap for.
Teams really wanted those compliance files this year, I bet.
Oh yeah.
They really wanted those.
Alrighty. I think we've this is probably over an hour.
Definitely the longest episode.
Yeah, definitely. So let's wrap that up.
It's because we knew Michael had to be somewhere, so we made sure to take our time.
Yeah, take extra long.
No, I don't gotta go anywhere.
All right, boys.
A quiz.
And girls, we'll see you guys next weekend when we come back after either a very nice 3-game stretch for Calgary or I'm going to be crying to start the episode.
We'll know if Calgary's making the playoffs next episode.
Pretty much. If we win all the games, we play. I think we play
2 times this
back, right? And then we play Sunday again too, though. No.
I don't know about that.
Edmonton.
I think you play. I thought it was like.
Oh
Monday,
no,
Tuesday.
we don't. Yeah. We play Monday, Tuesday. You're right.
So for Monday and Tuesday.
Oh yeah. Wait, we play. So, Johnny, I'm gonna see you all weekend this week, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
Nice. All right. Well,
COVID safe, of course.
Of course, we're gonna be in the garage, smoking a cigar, watching the Players Championship, F1 testing, and then Habs versus Flames. It's gonna be a great weekend. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
See ya.